Hello everyone, and welcome to another video of DoopTube. And today we're gonna do things a little bit different. And why is that? Well, I was gone for a week, and so I wasn't able to give a review on the third episode of The Walking Dead Season 10. And now that I have seen both episodes 3 and 4, I have decided to do a double review. So in this video, I'm gonna give a review on both episode 3 and 4 of The Walking Dead Season 10. Enjoy! And just before we get started, I just want to give away a big spoiler alert since I will be talking about some plot details of these episodes. So if you don't want to know anything about The Walking Dead Season 10 or The Walking Dead comics, just stop watching right now as I don't want to ruin anything for you. But for all clear, then let's get started. Let's start off with episode 3, Ghost. Episode 3, great episode. Pretty good. Way better than episode 1 and 2. I think episode 1 and 2 were okay, but not that great as I expected. But 3 was pretty good, I believe. I actually was hoping to see some more action in it, but it was a really thrilling and interesting episode. We start off with this opening scene where we see the time, an hour, and we see all walkers coming towards Alexandria, and it's several herds, and they have to take them down, and everyone gets really tired of it and all. And that's just actually the entire focus of the episode. Herds coming towards Alexandria, and our people have to kill them. And it is pretty weird because it's obvious that it is the Whispers. However, Gamma came to the gate of Alexandria and told Daryl it's not them. And I don't think she is telling the truth. I believe she's lying, and the rumor is also that she is lying. The rumor is that Alpha and the Whispers are indeed sending these walkers to Alexandria, and it's obvious that this is happening. It's obvious. Anyway, not everyone's really happy about it, and so we have this big council and all. And which new character is getting an introduction? This character right here, Marco, a really annoying woman. Really, she's really annoying. She's kind of like the new leader of the Highwaymen, I think, and I'm not really sure how many of the Highwaymen are left. I believe a lot. Only we just don't see them that much. We see Marco and we see her friend Alfred, but other than that, we don't see actually anyone of the Highwaymen. Maybe we'll see more of them in future episodes. Anyway, she is a troubling character. I'll talk more about her later. Now let's move on to this great scene, the border. It's this scene between Carol and Alpha, the face-off, which gets into some pretty troubling times. Carol almost kills her, and Michonne stands in to just stop that because Michonne doesn't want to have a war happening between Alexandria, Oceanside, Hilltop, and the Whispers. Michonne doesn't want that to happen yet, so she stops Carol from killing Alpha. And smart move, I believe. It's kind of a dick move of Alpha to take more land just because our heroes crossed the borders for reasons that were pretty good reasons, actually. They crossed the borders for pretty good reasons. They crossed it because they had to move to a safe place when they were moving the kingdom because there was no other way. They crossed the border to save both sides from fire. And yeah, the only time that it wasn't really that smart and they didn't have a good reason to cross the border was the time when Michonne and Aaron crossed the border. But other than that, there's no good reason for Alpha to be that mad on our heroes. I mean, her people, she may not know about it, but her people crossed the border too. We clearly saw that in episode 1. There was a king and it was on the side of the border from our heroes. So the Whisperers has crossed the border too. So they crossed the line and broke the rules too. And they have to be punished as well, in my opinion. But whatever, this was a great moment, I believe. And we're gonna see more of this face-off between Carol and Alpha. Maybe Carol will even be the one to kill Alpha, who knows. Then there was this great moment between Aaron and Negan. These two are not getting along that well because Aaron blames Negan for the death of Eric, which happened like 6 years ago. Get over it, man. I'm sorry, but it's really already 6 years ago during the Walking Dead timeline that Eric died. And sure, I get that Aaron is still a little bit mad and all, but it was 6 years ago, man. Get over it. Move on. Get a new boyfriend. Things happen. And it wasn't really Negan's fault. It was his man's fault. Negan didn't kill your boyfriend, Aaron. Some random saviors did. So you don't have to blame him. You have to blame his people. Anyway, Aaron is pretty mad at Negan, and they aren't really getting along that well, even though later in the episode Negan saves Aaron's goddamn life. It just doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but it's okay, I guess. Maybe these two aren't getting along yet, but they will eventually. Who knows? I hope so. Then there's this huge argument between Rosita and Eugene. Eugene still believes that he has a shot with Rosita, but Rosita just wants to make clear that she is not interested in a relationship with Eugene. She just wants to be friends. Nothing more than that. And that's okay for me. I know that these two had a relationship in the comics, but I don't think that should happen on the show. Because in the show, these two are totally different characters. They don't have to be in love, if I have to be honest. They should just be friends. And that works way better. In my opinion, if I have to be honest, Rosita should just be with Sadiq, maybe. I think they will make a great couple. And yes, Sadiq may be the father of Coco, but Sadiq and Rosita hooked up sometimes, but they aren't officially a couple. And I believe that they will make a great couple. Anyway, Carol has PTSD and she's having all these visions about the Pike lineup. She's having visions about Henry, Daryl, her past children, just actually everything around her. It's just really nuts, and I just feel bad for her. I hope that she is losing the PTSD rather sooner than later, because I want to get back to the badass Carol and not the Carol that cries a lot and gets scared of things that aren't there. Then I want to talk about this random whisperer who crossed the border. That's right, we don't know exactly who this whisperer is. We don't really have to know because she is dead. She was shot by Carol and then later died of buttocks. And I have to be honest with you, I believe that she was a little bit random and I didn't really care about her, but it is pretty weird. This was a Whisperer who crossed the border. And now that she's dead, it's pretty sad because now our heroes don't really have proof that one of the Whisperers crossed the border as well. Anyway, moving on to these two characters, Dante and Sadiq. Dante and Sadiq are two great characters. They're the only doctors left, and I'm not sure, but they will both die most likely because The Walking Dead is not really nice to doctors. The Walking Dead has killed off a lot of doctors, and I believe that they will do the same with Dante and Sadiq. Anyway, Dante was kind of a dick in episode 1, if I have to be honest, but kind of funny. But in this episode, he really shows that he's actually a pretty nice guy. He really is. He shows that he can be a guy who is nice to people, and he shares a drink with Sadiq and tells them that he also had PTSD problems, but eventually got over it. And I hope that Sadiq will get over it too, but I actually don't think he will. I have a feeling that the PTSD will get him killed eventually. Who knows? Anyway, that is everything I want to talk about of episode 3 of season 10, Ghost. Pretty good episode. I liked it. I will give it an 7. That's right. Moving on to episode 4 of season 10, The Science of the Whispers. Amazing episode. I really liked it. The best part about it is, of course, this right here. The attack from walkers on Hilltop. It was great, action packed. I really enjoy it. And I hope to see more of these action packed scenes in the future. And who sent these walkers to Hilltop? Who had the tree fall on the Hilltop's gate? It's obvious, it's the Whispers, right? It has to be. Anyway, there's an attack on Hilltop. No one dies, really. Everyone survives, which is pretty surprising, I guess, but whatever. But let's get back on something else. Science the Whispers. That is a line that has been written on almost every wall and door in Excentia. And who is doing that? We don't know. Maybe we'll find out eventually, but for now, we don't know exactly who. But I have a big feeling that it could be anyone. This whole sign has to be anyone, and we don't know exactly who it is. We haven't seen this sign yet. It was shown in trailer, and maybe we'll see it in episode 5 or 6, I'm not really sure. But you can clearly see that someone is writing this. I don't really know who this person is, maybe we'll find out. But I have a big feeling that's either one of the Highwaymen, Lydia, or Brandon. I actually don't believe it's Brandon. And why is that? Well, because there are rumors that Brandon is actually kind of a psychopath. Now, let's talk about one of the weirdest and random moments of the episode. The kiss between Ezekiel and Michonne. I know that this may not be that random for the comic book fans. We know that in the comics, Michonne and Ezekiel had a relationship, and the show that didn't happen, and that is because the characters on the show are pretty different than the characters from the comics. And I have to say, this whole thing between Ezekiel and Michonne, I don't think it will last that long. Now, let's talk about Rook for a second. Rook is highlighted a lot in this episode. we saw Luke talking about Jules and all, and he was having a big, big goodbye to his friends at the end of the episode. And he was clearly showing off to be a badass with his new weapon when he was fighting off some walkers. And it's obvious to me that they're highlighting Luke a little bit more. And why is that? Well, because I believe that Luke is gonna die during the season. I still believe that, and I believe it's gonna happen even more now that they're clearly highlighting him more. And when Walking Dead is highlighting a character more than they did before, it usually means that that character is gonna die soon. And I believe that that's gonna happen to Luke. Luke is a great character, we don't want to lose him. He's amazing, he is funny and all. However, we have to lose some characters this season, and I believe that Luke has to be one of them. Then, let's talk about this moment for a second. This has to be one of the best moments of the episode. We see Bo Michonne and her daughter Judith fighting off some walkers, one of the greatest and badass moments of the episode. I really love badass Judith. I like it so much that she is kind of like the new Carl, and she's a total badass, but she's like 10 years old, man. A girl from 10 years old who is a total badass. I like it. I like it a lot. I mean, it is pretty different from the comics. It really is. But I do believe that the writers did a great job with Judith. They killed off Carl, and they killed off Henry. Those were two people who took over the Carl storylines from the comics. And now we have Judith, who will probably be the final call. I don't really think there's gonna be another call. Maybe Gage will take over the Carl storylines from the comics, but I don't think he will. Maybe. I'm not sure. We'll have to wait and see. But for now, Judith is like the new Carl, and she is pretty awesome. She's pretty badass, and I like her very much. She's awesome. She's just awesome. Now, let's get back on the relationship building between Lydia and Negan. These two have a very unlikely relationship, but also a very interesting relationship. And I like it that they're getting along pretty much. It's pretty fun to see them both on the small screen becoming friends. I hope to see more of it in the future. And I like them. I really do. However, there's one person that doesn't really like it, and that is Daryl. Daryl doesn't really like that Lydia is getting along with Negan because Daryl still kind of hates Negan. But we'll have to wait and see. Maybe eventually Daryl will get along with Negan. Who knows? Anyway, let's get back on these two characters. We got Alfred, Marco, and this guy right here. It turns out to be none other than Gage. I first thought that it was Brandon, but it actually turned out to be Gage. And that's okay too. These three clearly hate Lydia. And why do they? Well, because they believe that she's the reason that their friends are put on pikes. And I get why they blame Lydia. I mean, she is the daughter of Alpha, the leader of the Whispers. And they thought that she was right there when Ozzy, Alec, Tara, Enid, Henry, Eddie, Rodney, Frankie, Tammy, they thought that Lydia was right there when they took their heads. And I get why they think that. She was a Whisper after all, but she's not anymore. She's now part of our heroes. She's a great character, I believe. I really hated her at first. She was pretty whiny and annoying, but I'm beginning to like her a little bit more. And why is that? Well, because she is turned into a badass, I believe. And when a character is turning into a badass on The Walking Dead, I'm starting to like them a lot more than I did at first. It was with Carol, it was with Judith, it was with Rosita, it was with Henry, and now it's with Lydia. I like it when characters are getting more badass than they were at first. At night, Lydia is walking around Alexandria and she gets attacked by Gage, Alfred, and Marco. And who saves her? Well, Negan does. That's right, Negan saves Lydia from these bullies. And what happens? Well, Marco gets killed. That's right. Negan accidentally kills Marco, and it's one of the most weirdest and terrible and shocking scenes on The Walking Dead. I mean, it's dumb. It really is. Marco is a badass and interesting character, and what happens? She gets killed in one of the most disappointing and worst ways possible. She gets thrown to a wall and she's dead. That's that. Negan throws her against the wall and boom, she's dead. I really hate it. It's really, really, really bad. And I'm so pissed off about it. If you don't believe that is what happened, go check it out on YouTube. Look up Marco's death. Yeah, no, you know what? I'm gonna show it you right now. Let's go. Okay, watch. Watch.
Why do you hate me?
My friend's on spikes.
I wasn't there.
Ozzy was always a fair man. So in his honor, I'm gonna give you one last chance.
If you run away now,
We'll play dumb when they ask us.
this is my home. You're my people. Get in there, kid.
Ozzy was one best friend.
What about your friend Addie?
Get up! Get up!
And Rodney.
Come on!
I love Henry. You know I love him. Please. Please.
Watch. Right here. Boom! Wait.
We were just trying to scare her. Yo, Negan! What the hell's going on back here?
Holy shit, Margo.
Margo.
Right here. That's so dumb. How can you die from that? Really? I mean, I get why they kill off Marco. She was pretty annoying and all. And she was causing a lot of trouble. But they didn't have to do it in that way. They had to kill her in a way that made way more sense. You can't die from getting thrown against a wall that wasn't even that hard. Negan throwed her a little bit, but not that hard to kill her. It doesn't make any sense. Really, it's a really dumb moment. It's shocking, but also dumb. Now, let's move on to the end of the episode. And that is the scene where we see Gabriel go into the prison cell. And it's revealed that Negan has escaped the prison and has run off into the forest. Well, who broke Negan out? Well, I don't know, but I believe it's Brendan. It has to be Brendan. I mean, in the trailer we see Brendan and Negan walking around, and it's obvious that Brendan saved him, because why would Brendan be walking around with Negan if he didn't save him. Anyway, Silence the Whispers, pretty good episode, I believe. However, the only bad thing about it is actually the scene where we see Marco's dead. It's one of the most dumbest moments on the show. But whatever, that happens. The Walking Dead has made some bad decisions before. Call! Henry! But whatever, it happens. And we'll just have to move on. And let's hope that we're not getting another moment on The Walking Dead that will piss us off. Again. Jesus! Anyway, I will give Silence the Whispers a 6. I want to give it an 8 because it's way better than episode 3. But I have to give it a 6 because the way Marco was killed was just terrible. And I actually would have liked to see a lot more of her. She was starting to look like an interesting character. I know they have to kill off someone, but maybe kill off Alfred. I don't care if a damn about Alfred. Kill him off, not Marco. She was just starting to get interesting. Anyway, that was my double review on both episode 3, Ghost, and episode 4, Silence the Whispers of The Walking Dead Season 10. I hope you enjoyed. Tell comments below what you think about episode 3, Ghost, and episode 4, Silence the Whispers of The Walking Dead Season 10. Like this video, subscribe to my channel, and see you guys next time.